Hey guys, and welcome back to the Deck Box. It's been quite a while since I've seen you guys. I wanted to just come out of hiding a little bit and give you a bit of content. This week I'm just going to be taking a look at a deck that's been seeing tons of play, especially after I saw it plays third and fourth, I believe, at last weekend's Star City Open. This is the white, red, blue, or America mid-range deck. We'll take a look at some of its pieces right now. Okay, so off we go. The first cards we're just going to be taking a look at are the land. The land base is, as you might guess, a lot of dual lands. What Ravnica lets us do is play basically no basics. So, starting out, we have one island and one mountain. And that is it. That's all the basic land cards in this deck. And, again, this is actually one of the first versions of this deck. Very, very close to what that deck was. Some of the new versions play actually 3 basic lands, and we'll get to that in a minute. The next 4 lands are Clifftop Retreats. So that's your white-red duel from Innistrad. Your next 4 lands would be Hallowed Fountains. And now this is where the really cool interactions start to happen. So a lot of people are coming to calling these lands buddy lands. Between the new shock lands, well, old, but the shock lands and all of the top lands that we've had, whether that be from Innistrad or M12, like the Glacial Fortress. Because what happens is, because your Hallowed Fountain, for example, is a plains and an island, it lets you play cards like Glacial Fortress that say, you know, if you have an island or a plains that comes in untapped, well, you have one because of Hallowed Fountain. So it lets you pair those lands together, essentially, and play basically all of your lands untapped. It's pretty excellent. So that's the next 4 is Glacial Fortress. And then the next set of 4 is Steam Vents, the red-blue shockland. And then the last 4 here are Sulphur Falls, another red-blue. So what we saw there was actually 5 sets of dual lands, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5 sets of dual lands, 3 basics, and then 2 utility lands here, which are 2 Moorland Haunts. Just let you get blockers out of nowhere. And this deck hasn't been great with this card. It gives you a lot of value out of nowhere. But usually you're not filling your graveyard with very many creatures. This is more or less just to get a blocker out of nowhere, really slow your opponent down if you have to be defensive, and give yourself another swinger in the air if you need it. It comes into play once in a while. The next 4 cards are Pillar of Flame, which, whoops, I guess 4 is wrong. Nope, 4 is right. The next 4 cards are Pillar of Flame. And Pillar of Flame is a very, very good card. Now, it was supposed to be an amazing card when Zombies was a very, very big deck. Now Zombies is seeing a lot less play already, just because it's not quite as good as people thought it might be in the current meta. And again, as Pillar of Flame starts coming out, because Zombies isn't getting played much, Zombies starts getting better again, Pillar of Flame starts getting better again, and it's going to sort of be this weird cycle. So the original deck had Pillar of Flame in it. Most of the deck lists I've seen right now still play Pillar of Flame, some number of them, but usually not 4. Sometimes it's cutting them for other spells. I've seen Bonfires. I've seen all sorts of different stuff, but usually we're cutting a pillar or 2, which may happen in this deck as well. The next spells would be 3 Searing Spears, more burn. That's essentially what you're in red for, is these burn spells, and 1 big fatty creature, which we'll get to in a minute after we get through our removal suite. We're about halfway through our removal suite now. That's the red removal, 3 Searing Spears and 4 Pillar of Flame. The next few cards here are 3 Syncopates, which this card is excellent counter. I really, really enjoy it. The fact that it exiles the card is just really, really huge. If you are playing against Zombies, it's a big deal. If you're playing against an Reanimator deck, it's a big deal. There's lots and lots of things that work with the graveyard as a resource, and Syncopate just says no, which is really nice. The next few cards here are Essence Scatter, and you can get away with Essence Scatter a lot. 2 mana counter is just really good. Hard counter, obviously, very good. But the reason why you can get away with this so much is because like the meta is pretty creature dominated, because the creatures are so good. So it lets you actually play Essence Scatter main board, which is really nice. Next card here is Dissipate. I'm supposed to be running at 2 Dissipates and 3 Unsummons. We're just kind of testing this out for now. Seems okay right now, but I think we will be adding another Dissipate because again, the Exile clause is just very, very good. Next few cards here are actually all Unsummons. Looks like actually 3 of them, not 4. I believe because I've actually cut one for a Detention Sphere, which is actually quite good as well. Anyways, 3 Unsummons. Excellent card. Like, I mean, it's not Vapor Snag, but like, you know, Vapor Snag it's one of a kind. But you mean, Unsummon's doing a lot too. It essentially does a lot of the same things. It just doesn't make them lose a life, which usually is the best part. But sometimes this might be a bit better for us because we're playing Geist of Saint Traft. Spoiler alert, and we're going to get there in a second. And what this lets us do is actually, you know, take the Geist of Saint Traft back to our hand after we swing, so that we can still get the 4/4 in, and then, like, you know, save the Geist if he's going to get blocked, which is okay, and it has to happen sometimes. So it's a little bit better than Vapor Snag in that situation. Next few here are Azorius Charm, and I can't say enough for this card. Actually, it's a full set. I didn't really know about Azorius Charm, how good it was, until I played with it a bit, and it is excellent. Like, you just do so much with it. I mean, when you swing with Geist and you can remove the blocker, put it back on top of their library, fix their draw, so you know that they're not going to get anything heinous next turn. They can't draw their miracles, like, that's awesome. Or if you're, like, behind because you're playing, like, that new red deck, you can use the lifelink ability to just gain back 6 life just with, like, you know, your Geist. Like, it's pretty excellent. Next few cards here are Detention Sphere. Sorry, I forgot one thing with Azorius Charm, which I usually forget. Like, its third ability is still good. If you're playing a game where it's not relevant, like, you know, in the first game or whatever, instead of, like, waiting to side it out before it's, like, you know, to get something else that's relevant, you can actually just cycle it, which is, like, really excellent. I think I said excellent about 5 times there. Detention Sphere, 2 copies of that right now. You know, there's lots and lots of sets of stuff right now, which are, like, a big deal. You know, it hits zombies pretty good. It hits, like, well, you know, it hits a lot of things pretty good. Like, even if you have to just get 1 card, sure, it still costs 3 mana, it's not horrible. But, like, when you're able to just, like, 2-for-1 them or 3-for-1 them, it feels so good. Let's move along here. Continuing our removal suite, really, is 4 Snapcaster Mages. And, like, there's a lot of people saying, like, you know, Snappy is probably dead. I don't know, not a lot. Some people, like, because there was so much hate on the graveyard, like, and Ash Zealot exists and stuff like that, but, like, Snapcaster's still insane. Like, you just kill that card, and then, like, who cares? Like, Snappy still comes in, does all sorts of stuff. Totally worth playing. Like, he's excellent. He's proven himself over and over and over again as, like, one of, if not the best creature card ever printed. Next 4 are Restoration Angel. Now, what they let you do is just have synergy with, like, a bunch of different things. Snapcaster Mage becomes a lot better because of Restoration Angel. And then, as well, our next card that we're looking at here, Geist of Saint Traft, becomes a lot better because you can, like, attack with it and then move it. Or, you know, protect it. Well, like, again, from blocking. So she just becomes a lot better in that way. And then also, like, flashing in Restoration Angel on their end step just as an attacker isn't horrible either. So that's, like, also quite good. So the next 4 cards are, like, really your major aggressor in this deck. Geist of Saint Traft. Like, he is the guy that you, like, need to, like, use to get the game finished. And, like, he, in most games, is you know, your only real attacking creature. Like, you clear the board, you deal with threats, and you get Geist out and you kill them. Like, that's how that deck works. And then, if he can't do the job, there's one more fatty in the deck, and that is Mr. Thundermahalkai. And there's 2 copies in this deck. Some decks are now running 3. I think that might be the right way to go. Just a bit more aggressive. See him a bit more often. I've never had this card in my hand and been like, shoot. Like, no, this card's amazing. I love it. And he just finishes games so fast. Alright, so that is white, blue, red, mid-range. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. And I hope maybe you can go out and try this deck. It's excellent. So much fun to play. I've been enjoying it so much. So, for me, and everybody here at the deck box, which is just me. Roll for choice, people. See ya.